Alcohol use disorder, or AUD, is characterized by an impaired ability to stop or control alcohol use despite adverse social, occupational, or health consequences. It is a spectrum disorder and can be mild, moderate, or severe, and encompasses the conditions that some people refer to as alcohol abuse, alcohol dependence, or the colloquial term alcoholism. AUD can cause lasting changes to the brain that make patients vulnerable to relapse. The good news is that no matter how severe the problem may seem, most people with AUD can benefit from treatment with behavioral therapies, medicines, or both. Hi, I'm coming on here late. It's 11:15. It is February 9th, 2024, and that means I am 11 days as in my new life as a non-drinker. Today I had to work. I worked a long day today, and I was so tired. I came home, sat on the couch, and fell asleep sitting up. I slept for about an hour like that, and because I've been up so late, because like I said, I'm just getting used to using the computer. Really, I'm not really tech savvy, so I had to figure everything out, and it's taken a long time to do these videos, but I'm getting better every day, and I think every day, of course, I'll get better. Just keep going. Anyways, so thank you for bearing with me. Um, Today's a new moon. It happened at 7:24 this morning. So this is my new moon necklace. That's why we're in the new moon. And yeah, so I like new moons. And tomorrow is going to be Chinese New Year. So it's the year of dragon. We're going to talk about that tomorrow and other stuff too. But anyway, um, I want to talk about my symptoms that I'm having still yet. I still got the shakes a little bit. Um, Okay, something I had forgotten to mention the last couple days was my skin has been really itchy, like really itchy. I haven't changed my detergent; nothing's different. Um, Also, my skin, like especially on my face, it seems like okay. You know how a snake sheds its skin? It's kind of like scaling, and then you can see like the ecky skin, like it's like different skin. It's cool. It's kind of looking gross while it's healing. But anyways, it just tells you how much alcohol does to you. Gosh darn it. Okay, I cut the video because that's as much as I want you to see of me because I kept getting interrupted, and by the retakes, by the time I was actually getting somewhere with the video, I was looking really tired. Since I said on yesterday's video that today's video was going to be about rethinking drinking, then I got to make it about rethinking drinking. However, I don't want to get into the pamphlet information today because that's what's taken so long as me compiling all this information. But to make a video with this information today would be too long. So I'm going to continue the rethinking drinking. It's going to be several videos for the next couple days. But today, about rethinking drinking, I want to talk about what made me rethink drinking because I knew that if I didn't stop drinking, that I would die. It was sometime in early November that I realized that I had a problem with alcohol. I couldn't start my day without it. I had to have at least two drinks, and if I was going to go more than 4 hours without a drink, then I would have to have at minimum six. I tried to weed myself off, but I found it to be extremely difficult. At this point, I did not know I had an alcohol use disorder. I mean, I probably did, but denial is a real thing. Perhaps it's a disorder that makes it so easy to not see the elephant in the room, or maybe it's just I was just afraid of losing the one thing that was always there for me. It was my best friend for so many years. I probably knew I needed to quit, but I didn't want to. If I'm not drinking, what am I doing? For the next month, I tried to lower my alcohol intake, but I found that to be very difficult because my body withdrew without it. When I tried to cut back, that's when I really knew I had a problem because I couldn't, not without being sick. For that whole month, I was only able to take my drink count down by three, from 18 to 15, 12-ounce White Claws a day. I have had only two spouts of sobriety in the last 2.5 years. Once was for 40 days. That was in January in 2022. And I had a 2-week sobriety recently, and that was in September, this last September. I got sober for my son's graduation. He graduated from the Air Force basic training. I'm so proud of him. That trip was very difficult for me, and it was a lot. And there was a lot that happened, and not something I want to talk about now, but maybe I will talk about it another day. But I put it in my head that I had done it. I had stayed sober. I made it to my son's graduation, and now that it's over and I can drink, and boy, did I. I spent the rest of the trip getting shit faced drunk in my hotel room, consuming 2 cases of White Claw a day. I felt like after the trip, my son was on his own, and that gave me license to get drunk. So from the time my son graduated until I was realizing I had a problem in early November, I consumed a ridiculous amount of alcohol, but yet still functioned. I would make sure that to just maintain at about the 0.08 mark throughout the day, but when I got home, it was on until I passed out. Then I would wake up in the middle of the night, drink a drink, go back to bed, wake up again and drink while I'm getting ready for work. But nobody ever knew nobody ever knew at my work because I work outside and I don't drive, so it was kind of easy for me to hide it. I used the excuse that since I don't drive, I don't have to stay sober. There's no reason to. Fast forward, it is now Wednesday, December 13th, and a friend would not leave me alone until I called my doctor and set up an appointment. That appointment was set up for a very far out date, but since I was telling them about my struggle, they connected me to a substance abuse nurse. She was so great. Her name was Karen. Not all Karens are Karens. She helped me to come up with a plan. She helped me to get the resources. She talked to me like I was a real person. She was absolutely fabulous. On Wednesday, December 20th, that was a week later, Karen called me just to check up on me and make sure that I had a plan in place and that plan was in place for the holiday season and make sure that I was doing well and how my state of mind was. It was nice to have somebody be concerned about me and care about my issue. I'm sure other people would have been concerned and cared, but I wasn't going to tell them about it, so, you know, I didn't give them that chance to. I had an appointment already scheduled for January 25th for a telepsychiatrist that I see, and Nurse Karen told me that she would be there and she would see me then. On the morning of January 25th, I woke up about 4:30 and drank 2 drinks because I didn't want to smell like alcohol when I went in there, so I thought that would be enough time and to not smell like alcohol and still be okay. I thought maybe I would just be starting my withdrawal symptoms. That way she could see what my withdrawal symptoms were sort of like because she had asked me what they were like on the phone. And I told her I didn't really know what they were like a whole lot because I've never allowed myself to get that sick. Because anytime I would get started getting sick, I would just drink. To tell you the truth, I don't know the last time I've ever gone 4 hours without a drink or at least gone that long without having enough on board to go 4 hours without a drink. So I finished my last drink at 5 o'clock that morning and my appointment was scheduled for 8:30, but they were having technical difficulties. So I had to wait another half hour before I could be seen. I had already started having withdrawal symptoms an hour before my appointment, but I had no idea how bad that my symptoms would get because I never had let myself get that bad. I would just go and get a drink, or if I felt bad, I just drank. Okay, so now it's been 4 hours since my last drink, and I'm being brought back for my appointment. The nurse does what she always does. She gets my weight, blood pressure, heart rate, blah blah blah. She becomes very concerned when she gets the measurements of my blood pressure and my heart rate. My heart rate was racing. My blood pressure was 160 over something. I can't remember the bottom number, but I know that the top number, 180, that's a stroke. And I know that because I've had 3 of them because of my blood clotting disorders, not because of my drinking. But that tells you how AUD affects you. I told her that since I knew that I was going to see her that morning, I wanted to withdraw a little bit so that she could see my symptoms. Because on the phone, I couldn't give her an answer because I never had, like I said, let myself have those kind of symptoms. Of course, my hands were sweating and, my pits were sweating. I was a mess. And of course, all this time I'm shaking uncontrollably. She asked me questions, I answered them, and simply put, she told me I was a severe alcoholic with a severe problem, and I absolutely could not try to go through and stop on my own, that I was going to need medical intervention to get detoxed. They tried to hurry me through the appointment so that I could get a drink. When a medical professional tells you that when you leave their office to hurry up, go to the nearest gas station and get a drink, you know you got a problem. I mean, if you didn't know before, and honestly, I really didn't know before. I mean, I didn't know it was that bad. Not not at all. So before I left, they take my blood pressure again, and this time it's 170 over whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting scared. I was feeling really, really bad. She told me that her suggestion is that I go to a facility to get medically detoxed. And she gave me a bunch of resources to reach out. And she told me that they would take my insurance and everything, and that it was community driven. So even if insurance didn't cover it and I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't have to pay. And I think that's pretty awesome. When I detoxed at the center and they processed me, they said that if my insurance rejected it, I would only have to pay $12 a day for my stay. And that's not bad when I was spending easily $30 a day on alcohol. So her suggestion was to leave her office and start making a plan and get myself into detox. And so I spent the weekend doing just that. I spent the weekend making preparations, and then I started telling everybody. I told my children, I told my one coworker, and I told other people who had no idea. The ones who didn't know me well didn't think I drank, and the ones who knew me well didn't think I drank that much. They didn't think it because I hid it. Just like Liesel, I was silent. Before I left the doctor's office, Nurse Karen gave me a pamphlet called Rethinking Drinking, and it was a big eye opener for me. And that is what I want to share with you. And it was a blessing to me, and I hope that it's a blessing to you. And tomorrow we're going to start getting into the booklet. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to day 12 tomorrow. Bye.